Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Clapper Creations. I'm once again A.T. Clapper, and I am back with another daily draw with a random prompt. This time, we have a white-haired boy with black scarf. Okay, when I first looked at this prompt and thought of it, I immediately thought of oh god, the Dark Souls 3 guy. Oh god, what's his name? The Lost King or something like that. Fallen King, Firstborn. Oh god. Gwyn's Lost. The Nameless King. Is it the Nameless King I'm thinking of? Yes, the Nameless King is who I'm thinking of. Because he's got big white hair. Here, let me show you. He's got big white hair, and a long black scarf. And I immediately thought of him. So I'm going to draw him. So here we go. Okay. So he's got like spikes on his forehead. He's got eyes here. He's got such a mane. He's got the scarf. God, this guy's really complicated. And he's got this other shawly thing, and his armor's all weird and ridged. Okay. So we'll drop that down. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do. Alright. That's his crown thing. It goes like this. And what we're going to do is eyes like this. And he has a nose, so we're going to do that. Here we go. Can't really see his face, so I'm not really too worried about drawing his face. Purely just because you can't see it. So, right, and his hair just immediately comes out like that. Alright. This dude's got hair. Oh my god. It's just so much freaking hair. It's just frizzy and just really thick flowing hair. I'm kind of jealous. I mean, out of all the Dark Souls bosses, this dude's probably the most anime. Because that's one thing I really like about Dark Souls 3 specifically, is that they just threw their hands up and said, fuck it. It's anime now. And I could not have thoroughly enjoyed myself more. Because people who know me know that I am a fan of what I have lovingly called dumb anime bullshit. Which is, the weird anime tropes that, everyone screams and everyone gets more powerful, and fighting for one's true justice and all that happy fun shit. I love that shit. I love that stuff. So when there's something that kind of is like that, I usually tend to gravitate towards it. That's why I really like My Hero Academia, because it's pure. It's just pure anime bullshit, and there's nothing I love more than raw anime bullshit. Um, just because I love it, and it's. I guess I love it because it's pure, you know. But yeah. Besides that, Dark Souls 3. I played quite a fair bit of Dark Souls 3. I I have fought this guy, the Nameless King, or Gwyn's Firstborn, whatever you want to call him. I fought him about 4 or 5 times before I just threw my hands up and said, I can't do this. So, Gwyn, not this, the Nameless King is probably the first Dark Souls boss that I truly just threw my hands up and said, I can't do this. There were other bosses that were difficult that I eventually, through either practice or just sheer brute force, had overcome. This boss was not one of them. I will probably won't ever try to beat him because I know I can't. I can't beat him. So, so we just got. I just there's certain things I know in my soul, you know, and one of those things I know in my soul is I cannot beat the Nameless King. He's too much for me. You know, I usually play like a caster build, and his just constant aggression, big sweeps, I'm not good at. I can't do it. So there's his green arm that sticks out there. Let's see here, and there's like a seam here. There appears to be some kind of design here too, so I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, and it's you know, Dark Souls was never easy per se. Like I've yet to beat Dark Souls 1. I've beaten Dark Souls 2 multiple times. I have never beaten Dark Souls 1. I got past Ornstein and Smoke. Some of you might remember that daily draw of my celebratory doodle of finally beating Ornstein and Smoke. But it was a short-lived victory because I immediately ran up against enemies that I could not handle. And at that point, I just kind of threw my hands up and said, well, this game does not want me to proceed. So I acquiesced to its desires, and I did not proceed. Guy's got like this design kind of on his chest. He's got like ridges. I don't know what he's doing with this armor. This is super simple because his design is super complicated. I don't know why I chose to do this. This is stupid. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to color him, which I usually don't do, per se. So he's got a... I'm going to make my brush bigger. Usually go up to... he's got light tips here. We'll do his hair first because his hair is really detailed. So got like white tips, but like he's got it also in here. He's got some white light strips through it all. Alright. We're going to do his hair first. Then it gets darker on the undercarriage. Alright, here we go. Yeah, so Dark Souls 3 is an interesting game. If you haven't played it, it's one of those games that it doesn't really it expects a lot out of you, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not like Legend of Zelda where like, oh, we're like, here's the puzzle, here's the key for the puzzle, figure out the puzzle. Or the puzzle is just getting a key. The puzzles in Dark Souls tend to be, what do I do next? Where do I go? Who am I going to talk to? Because a lot of the times it's just like, oh, here's a, you know, oh, you need to go do a thing. Like in Dark Souls 1, and this was my biggest problem with the first Dark Souls, was like, hey, go ring a bell. Ring the 3 bells of awakening. That was your task. Okay. They kind of point you towards the first bell, but the only real direction you get is there's one above you and there's one below you. And that's not great because that doesn't tell me anything. So there's a bell above me, like right now, or like it was just very confusing. That being said, it was a fun as hell game right up until the first Capra Demon, in which case it kind of collapsed. Because Capra Demon was the first like hard fight in the game, really, and a lot of people just weren't prepared for it. So that's why Dark Souls 2, kind of the black sheep of the family, honestly, people say was intentionally made easier, which could be true. I don't know. I'm not that informed in that kind of stuff. It could have been made easier. I don't know. I beat it, so I wouldn't call that game easy by any means. Because it wasn't easy. Like anyone who claims it was easy, it took effort, you know. And that's one thing that I feel Dark Souls has kind of tainted, I guess is the best way to put it. That like people, like I play Dark Souls to have some fun. You know, I did it to relax a bit, you know, fight some big monsters, have some fun. But whenever I tried to play online or anything like that, there was always a group of people who, like, there was a correct way to play the game, and I don't think that is. I don't think that is a good thing. You know, there should not be. I'll give him red eyes. That should not be the case, you know. Yeah, give him that sickly green, kind of pale skin. You know, games are supposed to be fun. You know, if you're running around like ruining other people's fun, then you know, maybe you should play something else. That's why I look at it. So he's wearing like leathers. This dude's whooping my. I didn't even realize that before. This dude's wearing like leathers. This whole ensemble is just this. That's a terrible brown. I picked the worst brown. Oh my god. What? Let's find a better brown. Find more appropriate brown. Yeah, how's that? How's that brown? That's a better brown. Oh god. That's why I hate brown, because there's like... It's so gross. I hate the color brown. I really do. Like, it's nice in nature, but whenever people use it in, like, design, it usually comes out really gross. 'Cause it's just, it's so... Blech. So I'm using more like a reddish. Because he's got more of a reddish to it, but he's also kind of in a... like a light, which I'll add the light later. Okay, so now we need to brighten that up. We're going to gray it up too for this bits. Because those things actually are more white, aren't they? So they gotta go this way more. Yeah, okay. Forgot what I was talking about. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so Dark Souls has always been kind of a sore spot for me, quite honestly. Purely just because, A, it's hard. B, I sunk hundreds of hours into it, and I never, ever, ever felt like I got anywhere. Because like the first enemies in the game were still just as capable as killing you 100 hours in as they were 5 minutes in. Which I can appreciate the design of the game because it's supposed to be like that. I can appreciate that, but at the same time, I don't know. It irritated me. Like there wasn't enough progression, I guess. You know. Oh damn it. Okay. I'm going to do a buckle here. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this color. And we're going to darken it up a bit because we're going to do the folds here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do kind of in color shading, but I'm also going to do a light source shading as well, which sometimes looks a little weird, but if it does, then I might undo it. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it looks. Part of this series is me just dicking around, trying to see what looks good. You know. So. So if things like don't look right, then I can change them, update it, alter things. So far, I'm actually really liking the way this is looking. Just because I like the way it's coming out. It's coming out real good. At least I think it is. There's a few times where I've been drawing and I've been like, oh, this looks real good, and then I'll step back and actually look at what I'm drawing, and I'm like, wow, this is garbage. Oh, hey, kitty. I don't think that's going to happen this particular time because I really like this so far. Actually, I think I'm good at this point. So, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a hot orange, because that's what I'm going to crank this up a bit. It's because he's got kind of this orange glow thing going on. Because he's got this sword that's off screen currently, which I realize after the fact that I drew his weapon off screen, but he's got this huge halberd. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play with low settings here. I'm going to do outer glow. No, that's not what I want. What do I want? What do I want? Well, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it inner glow? No. Outer glow? Maybe. Let's see. No. That's not what I want. Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. I put something where you sit. Okay. How did I do that before? Ah, here we go. No. That's not what I want. That's not what I want either. I'm getting close. Okay. So then I want to stroke. No, I'm not doing that. Let's see here. Why did that? Why is that up there orange, but that down there is... I don't know. Where's my mouse at? There it is. Okay, so what we're going to do is kind of clean this up a little bit. That looks terrible. That looks alright. So I mean when you say like, oh yeah, this like looking good so far, and then you step back and look at it and you go, wow, that's hideous. Okay, so what I want now is, no, do I want hard maybe? I'm curious. God, no. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take the same color. Now I'm going to do the opposite. Let's see how this looks. This is going to be like the background fill too. Okay, so we're going to fill that, we're going to fill that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is multiply that. Nope, that looks like trash. Okay. Darken. No. Maybe I'll just do that. That actually looks kind of alright. And because it's Dark Souls, we can't have it being a normal background, so let's do gray. That looks good. Alright, where's my mouse? There she is. Alright. So we're going to flip that around. We're going to do put that away at the top. I'm going to drag layer 1 up. All right, and that's white-haired boy with black scarf. I just realized I didn't draw the scarf black, but whatever. I drew what I wanted to draw, and that's the beauty of art. That I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm just gonna fix that up a little bit, clean that up a wee bit, just so it's just there. This is basically the finished drawing. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit because I realized I hated the way that looked. Which is a common thing. If you do art, you'll immediately hate half of the things you draw. That just comes with the territory, unfortunately. You'll spend so much time on something and then you'll finish it and you'll be like, oh, this is trash. But yeah, I still think that looks really good. Okay, thank you for watching. I've been AT Clapper, and this has been White Haired Boy with Black Scarf. Have a good one.